They warned him, law enforcement begged him, and now Americans are paying the price. Gavin Newsom's crusade against ICE wasn't just political theater, it was a direct assault on public safety. He declared war on the very agents who risked their lives to keep dangerous criminals off our streets. And now, cities all across America, they're bleeding from the wounds that he helped to inflict. Now, this is not hyperbole. Women raped, families shattered, illegal alien predators are set free by design under these sanctuary policies that Gavin Newsom defended with a smile and a soundbite. And while President Trump restores law and order nationwide, California's governor, he is scrambling to cover the tracks of a policy disaster that he helped to create. So here's a twist, guys. While Gavin Newsom's wagging his little finger at Texas, calling them a threat to democracy, he was plotting to do the exact same thing in California, gutting voter-approved reforms and rewriting district lines to keep his party in power. Unbelievable. I know. Guys, this video is not just about immigration. It is about betrayal. It's about power. And it's about what happens when the political games come before American lives. And you're going to see how Governor Gavin Newsom's war on ICE has backfired so explosively. Even Democrat cities are so desperate. They're desperate to claw their way out of this chaos. And if you think that the hypocrisy stops with Gavin Newsom, wait until you hear what his own party is now doing behind closed doors to make sure you never get a say in this. By the way, if you appreciate these updates, please hit the like button and subscribe. So the numbers, they don't lie. And neither do the headlines that are pouring out of California, New York, Chicago, and every major sanctuary city that Gavin Newsom helped empower. The cities are bleeding. Not metaphorically, but literally. Victims of violent crime, murder, raped, assaults by individuals who should have been long deported, but they were released back onto the streets thanks to Gavin Newsom's so-called compassionate policies. These are not isolated cases. We're talking about repeat offenders, illegal aliens who had already been detained, already had records. ICE had flagged them, local jails ignored them, and now American families are burying their daughters. All because politicians like Gavin Newsom would rather posture than protect. And while President Trump is restoring law and order across the country, shutting down border chaos, rebuilding deportation infrastructure, Newsom, he's fighting ICE. I know. He's fighting the very same people who are trying to stop this bloodshed. But here's the kicker. This isn't happening in secret. Newsom knows. DHS knows. Even former ICE Director Tom Homan called it out. These sanctuary cities are putting everyone in danger, and they're being put on notice. Now, if you think that sounds pretty intense, wait until you hear what Gavin Newsom is actually doing behind the scenes to block ICE from even entering jails. Yeah. So Gavin Newsom, he doesn't just tolerate sanctuary cities, he actually defends them. And California doesn't just ignore ICE, it actively blocks them. So here's how it works, okay? So ICE sends a detainer request when a known illegal alien, often with a criminal record, is arrested and sitting in a jail cell. Now, these aren't random people. These are flagged individuals, often with some violent pasts. But instead of cooperating with ICE, local officials, under Newsom's protection, they open the cell doors and let them walk. Yeah, they don't notify ICE. They don't give agents access. And now, instead of safely apprehending these folks inside the jail, ICE is forced to go hunting for them on the streets, putting agents at risk, putting innocent people in the crossfire. Tom Homan was very clear. This isn't just wrong. It is completely reckless. Now, this is the reason why we're seeing spikes in violent crime across sanctuary regions. And this is why the Trump administration has started building mega facilities like Alligator Alcatraz and the new Speedway Slammer in Indiana to undo the damage that was created by these blue state policies. But the next part, this is really going to make your jaw drop. While Gavin Newsom is shielding violent criminals and attacking ICE, he's also been screaming at Texas, accusing them of cheating democracy. And yet, he's doing the exact same thing in California. Worse, actually. So here's something that most people do not realize. Medicare plans change every year. And just because your plan worked last year doesn't mean that it's the best choice today. And so this is why I partnered with Chapter. Their experts check every plan that's available in your area. They check every year at no cost to you. For example, Julie from Kansas, she got scammed into this overpriced plan by a local broker, but Chapter stepped in and saved her $400 annually. And Francis Luterno, wrote in and said, "We saved $65 a month. Chapter was a big help." Guys, the window to make changes is very limited, so give our friends at Chapter a call right now. Do not waste another second. Phone number is down below on your screen at 909-563-8279, or visit them on the web at askchapter.org/Ron. Do not get left behind. Now, there are over 1.4 million illegal aliens in the country right now with final deportation orders. That's not speculation. That's not awaiting hearing. That's after due process, after the courts, after multiple appeals at taxpayer expense, mind you. And yet they're still here, protected, hidden, and in a lot of cases, aided by officials who think that they're scoring some kind of political points with endangering the people that they swore to serve. It's unreal. So Tom Homan, he laid it out crystal clear. ICE knows who these individuals are. They've got the files, the addresses, the orders, but states like California, they won't cooperate. And Gavin Newsom, he's not just ignoring the problem. He is actively fueling this problem, okay? So California has become a sanctuary not just for immigrants, but for illegal aliens with criminal convictions, including some flagged as national security threats. Gavin Newsom's excuse? Compassion. The heck? Yeah, he says it. I mean, that's what he calls it, compassion. But tell that to the mother whose daughter was unalive by a repeat offender that ICE tried to deport, but Gavin Newsom's sanctuary jail let walk free. And remember, while all of this is happening, President Trump's team is doing everything possible to fix the mess left behind by Biden. New detention facilities, faster deportation flights, but California is not helping. They're resisting. And this time, Newsom's resistance just exposed the ugliest hypocrisy yet. So, just a few months ago, Gavin Newsom held this press conference to slam the state of Texas. And he called their redistricting efforts an existential threat to democracy. He said that they were rigging the system. What do you call it? Undermining elections. Accused them of behaving like fascist gangsters. Now, here's the problem with this, okay? So Gavin Newsom is now pushing a plan to do the exact same thing in California. Not once, not twice, but for 3 election cycles, 2026, 2028, and 2030. He wants to override California's independent redistricting commission. This is something the people voted for, guys, just so that his party can redraw the lines in their favor. You heard that right. I know you're pissed. He is accusing Texas of he's accusing Texas of destroying democracy while literally dismantling the voter-approved system in his own state so he can cling to power. Yeah, I'm not making this stuff up. This is really happening. I know. And so it even gets worse than that. So Gavin Newsom, he tried to dress it up in flowery language. He said it was inspired by Lincoln's second inaugural, claimed facts have changed, that we must change with them. Okay. Translation, principles don't matter when you're losing power. That's really what that means, guys. So let me ask you this real quick. All right. All of you guys watching the show right now, if somebody calls a tactic undemocratic when the other side uses it, but then turns around and then uses it themselves, what does that make them? Does it make it honest? Does it make them honest? Does it make them brave? Or is it just another career politician willing to burn the rules the moment that they stop working in his favor? Sounds rather hypocritical to me. That's the other thing. And so what if I told you that this redistricting plan isn't just a Newsom solo act? It's part of a broader move by Democrats to override voter will and rewrite the rules just before Trump's next landslide hits. So back in 2008, California voters passed a landmark reform to take redistricting power out of politicians' hand and give it to an independent citizens commission. You know who championed it? It was Republican governor, you may have heard of him, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just drop a yes if you've heard of Arnold. So he called it a step forward for fair elections, a model the entire country would follow, right? And for a while it worked. But now that Gavin Newsom and the Democratic machine are bleeding voter support, especially with Trump surging in the polls, they want the old power back. Now, Newsom, he's trying to rewrite the rules and essentially override the commission's authority just in time for the next 3 election cycles. Why? Because red states like Texas are gaining seats, because Trump's America First policies are taking hold, because he's terrified of losing power. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't mince words. He said, California is in a race to the bottom. And he's right. Does anybody agree with Arnold on that one? This isn't leadership. This is sabotage. So let's be very clear here. Gavin Newsom isn't just fighting ICE. He's fighting voters. He's fighting the very system that he once claimed to support because it doesn't benefit him anymore. And so this brings us to arguably the most heartbreaking part of all. Because while Gavin Newsom is playing these power games, the people that he claims to protect, they're the ones that are getting sacrificed here. So Gavin Newsom and his allies love to use words like compassion and inclusion and humanity. But what do those words really mean when they're used to shield violent offenders? Well, let's talk about the victims, shall we? Because they're always left out of the sanctuary city press releases. So the women who are not treated so nicely by men who are already in jail. So you have that group there. You have children who were unalived by repeat offenders that ICE tried to deport. You've got the grieving families who were never told that the man who unalived their daughter had been previously released with no warning. Guys, these are not hypotheticals. These are real stories, documented cases, and they all have one thing in common. Sanctuary policies let the predator walk free. Tom Homan, I think he said best. ICE is not asking sanctuary cities to become immigration officers. They're asking them to honor detainers for violent criminals. That's it. That's it, guys. This is not outrageous. These are not outrageous demands. Arrest them in jail, not on the streets. Protect the public, work together. But Gavin Newsom said no. He chose politics. He chose performative compassion over actual protection. And now the communities that he claims to champion are the ones that are suffering the most. So let me ask you this. Who's really getting protected here? The law-abiding citizens, residents of California, or the criminal repeat offenders that the state refuses to remove? And if that question makes you a little bit uncomfortable, then good, because we still need to talk about something. By the way, if you appreciate the news updates, please hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate your support. While Gavin Newsom blames Texas, shields violent criminals, and rewrites the rules to save his own party and his own you-know-what, President Donald J. Trump, he's out here doing what leaders are supposed to do. He promised the American people the largest deportation operation in U.S. history. And guess what? That man is delivering. Ever since returning to office, over 300,000 illegal aliens have already been deported, and many of them are convicted criminals with public safety threats. I mean, they're public safety threats. So it's not just the numbers, guys. It really is. I know it's a big number, but it's not just the numbers. It's the infrastructure that's behind the mission. Take Alligator Alcatraz in Florida. They built this place this summer. It's already housing thousands of these illegals, right? Or how about the brand new Speedway Slammer in Indiana? These are not just holding facilities. They're hubs built for efficiency with runways nearby to remove illegals fast, clean, and lawfully. Literally, stick them in that prison and then load them up in the plane and hit the runway, get them out of here, right? So that's what's happening. Now, again, these are the violent folks. Trump's new big, beautiful bill authorizes up to 100,000 detention beds because when you know that there are over 1 million with final removal orders, you're going to need some serious capacity to clean up this mess. So you're going to need a lot of beds, right? So while Democrats virtue signal, Trump builds. While blue states release predators, Trump's ICE teams are arresting them in record numbers. And the results? A 90% drop in illegal crossings at the southern border since February. That's amazing. That is actually remarkable. This is what competence looks like. This is what America first looks like, guys. And as Trump restores law and order, what are Democrats doing? They're trying to beat him. They're trying to beat Trump at his own game, and they're failing badly. So for years, Democrats called Trump a dictator. They called Trump an authoritarian, a fascist. But they also said that he would weaponize the government, that he was going to destroy democratic norms and silence the opposition. I'm sure you guys remember that, right? So now that he's back legally, democratically, and decisively, they're the ones that are rewriting the rules. Now, just look at the playbook here, okay? Condemn Trump's redistricting stance, then override your own independent commission, right? Condemn ICE raids, then secretly lobby for more federal money when crime explodes. Condemn ballot access restrictions and then try to remove Trump from the ballot in your own state. They're not standing on principle, guys. They're standing on whatever helps them hold on to power for one more cycle. That's all they're doing. And the people are waking up to this. Newsom's fight with fire, his motto is basically, fight fire with fire. This whole rhetoric is proof that his party is not interested in fairness. They're only interested in revenge. But here's the truth. You can't out-Trump Trump. You can't win the game by imitating the opponent that you spent 8 years demonizing. And now the entire facade is collapsing under the weight of its own hypocrisy. The Democrats once claimed to be the moral alternative, and now they're just another machine trying to rig the system, and they're still losing. But what they're planning next, this is where it really gets dangerous. So I want to talk numbers. I want to talk numbers real quick here, guys. So in the state of California, 40% of voters consistently vote Republican in statewide elections. Yet, only 9 out of 52 congressional seats are held by Republicans. That is already outrageous. But now, Gavin Newsom's redistricting plan, it could drop the number even further to just 3 seats. Let that sink in, guys. Nearly half the population could be politically erased. Not because they moved, not because they lost elections, but because Gavin Newsom just wants to change the lines before the votes are even cast. Wow. Unreal. And they say they're protecting democracy. How? How do you protect democracy by eliminating representation for 40% of the population? That's not democracy. This is manipulation. This is what political desperation looks like, guys. Newsom isn't just fighting ICE or Texas or Trump. He's fighting you. If you dare think differently, he's fighting you. If you vote differently, he's fighting you. If you believe in balance, he's fighting you. And so if he's willing to do that to California Republicans now, then what happens when the red wave gets even bigger? What happens when Trump wins 35 states in 2028, right? Or it's probably going to be Vance running, but you get my point, right? Do they just start erasing more maps, more voters, more opposition? That's the question that this moment demands. If somebody's willing to erase your voice to keep their seat, what else are they willing to do? So you've heard the facts. You've already seen the consequences. You've watched cities bleed while the people in charge blame everyone but themselves. But here's the decision. Do you stand with ICE agents risking their lives to clean up this mess? Or are you with the politicians who open the jail doors and let the chaos just walk free? Do you believe in a democracy where voters decide who leads? Or do you believe in a backroom process where political insiders redraw maps until they can't lose? Do you want safety, law, order, or another Newsom press conference blaming red states for the damage that his own party created? Newsom's war on ICE didn't just fail. It exposed everything that's wrong with the progressive political machine. They don't want justice. They don't want fairness. They want control at any cost. But the American people were done being lied to. And under President Donald J. Trump, who's delivering safety, order, and a future that's worth protecting, we're taking this country back, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and ask, what side are you on, okay? If you believe America deserves better than sanctuary madness and some rigged maps, hit the like button right now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for truth, justice, and unapologetic patriotism. And share this video with someone who still thinks Gavin Newsom is a man of principle. They deserve to see what's really happening. I promise you that. Oh, and do not go anywhere. YouTube has just recommended a video it thinks that you're going to love. So click that video that just popped up on your screen right here. Click it now because it picks up where this story leaves off. And I promise you, it is worth your time. I will see you over there.